This is not your way. This is mine.
What's going on?
Hey, Bobby
Hey,
T. Bobby T.
what's up? Dude, what's going on with you? How are things, man?
Man, I love the setup back there. Look at that stuff. That's
Home studio. Yeah. And I put, all the camera gear back there. You got to do it.
amazing.
We were sitting a few years ago, Robertson Key, chatting about the industry, Crazy Rich Asians. And now you are one of the most iconic characters of the latter 20th century on film. How does this feel like?
It's crazy, isn't it? And it, the weird thing, Bobby, was like it wasn't that all too long ago. It was probably what three years ago. 2018 was when Crazy Rich came out, so maybe 2017. But it's been a long graft. I think we've kept in contact throughout this entire time, and I've shared with you sort of my experiences with Hollywood and making these types of movies and things. But this one was really special. This one was a real dedication, not only sort of mentally but physically. We had to be able to do all these stunts ourselves. We had to sort of put ourselves in a position where we could complete all of this choreography, make Snake Eyes the most badass he could possibly be. So it was, it's been a hell of a ride, man. And I can't compare it with everybody.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, because taking on an iconic role like this obviously requires the training, as you mentioned, but it's also the fan base, because they in their own right, they look at these characters like biblical icons in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
And Snake Eyes has got a very interesting backstory. So what did you want to bring as Henry to Snake Eyes that we haven't seen before?
I think a sense of humanity. I think what we'd seen the operator and the badass ninja, the guy that is the best fighter in the room, but we've never seen the motivations behind the decisions that he's had to make, the tough choices, the mistakes of following the wrong sorts of people. And that's what we see in this origin movie. We see the man before the mask. We see him struggle with identity. And there's something we all go through. And sometimes you have to make those really bad mistakes to understand and realign yourself to a greater good. And that's exactly where we find our Snake Eyes. Pre-Arashikage, pre-mask, pre-Joe's. And he's hurt. He's broken. He's had one hell of a life so far. And so it's really interesting to see how he picks himself up from that.
Interesting you say that, because obviously prior to this part of your career, you were a very well-known travel host around the region. And you've seen the worst of the worst from people, the best of the best. You've seen all these different countries. Now, do you take some of that experience and you bring it into, let's say, a character Snake Eyes where, vengeance and loss and pain come into play?
No, 100%. You can look at, my time spent with Channel News Asia, which you're very familiar with, and spending time in places like Tacloban or Smoky Mountain in the Philippines, and understanding that these orphans have to fend for themselves. They have to be able to feed themselves, and they have to do things which aren't savory to be able to kind of support. And that's something that we find sort of Snake Eyes. He's from a very young age, he's been on his own. He's had to go through the school of hard knocks. So to be able to, one, have had experience in talking to those types of people who have lived that through their real sort of lives, to be able to kind of soak that in and channel that into a character. I think it's such a gift that I came into acting a lot later on in my career, since sort of experiencing so much of that, and hopefully being able to sort of pick at certain sort of characteristics that I've come across for certain roles.
Okay, I got one last question here. They want me to wrap it up, but one last question. Did you keep morning light?
Bobby, I wish I did. I
No.
wrote my name on like one of the things. I wish, but no. It's there was one hero sword, and it was beautifully crafted, handcrafted. It must have took some poor sod like hours and hours, days upon days to create this sword. The last filming day was in Japan, so for me to be able to be like, yoink, I'll take it, I wouldn't be able to get back to America in the first place. So they'd be like, why have you got a samurai sword in your luggage? So I'd have to, but I'm Snake Eyes. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't sell. But I'm looking forward to the day that that Paramount gift me my own morning light that I can hang up in pride of place in my home. So we'll be waiting for that day.
I'll be waiting for that video call too. All right, man. Exactly. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Yeah, take care, Bobby.